How's it hanging, everybody? So we're back today talking about the Analogue company, as I promised. Earlier in the week, they released a teaser for an announcement that was to be made today, and that announcement has been made, and here we are, and we were right. We did it. It's the Turbo Duo. The Analogue Duo is what it's called, and we probably should have tried to guess the name because the Analogue Duo probably would have been on the short list of games or of names of this console. So not the greatest name in the world. Honestly, not the most attractive box that this company has put together. I mean, it's definitely not ugly, but it seems to lack just a little bit of that like analog magic that I remember seeing on some of their more recent consoles. It just looks a little bit on the vanilla side, but whatever, it still looks good, and it's what's inside that counts, as they say. So anyway, let's come back up top here. Introducing the Duo. This is something that we'll be playing as we discussed on Wednesday. TurboGrafx-16, PC Engine, TurboGrafx-CD, PC Engine CD. And then there's also Super Graphics. I don't know what that is exactly. And there's also Super Arcade CD-ROM. I don't really know what that is. Maybe that's the European version or something. I don't know. Who knows? But this is all completely engineered in FPGA. That's the thing that we know about all analog consoles. They are not actual software emulation. They build their hardware to mimic the hardware of old. So they want it to, that will give us the best possible representation of the gameplay, and we'll recreate that gameplay in its truest form possible, basically, in modern times, and that is FPGA. And I still use the term emulation to refer to FPGA and hardware-based emulation because it's, excuse me. I know Analogue may not want me to, but I just literally, I think it is emulation. You're mimicking a piece of hardware that existed back in the day. You're trying to make it do the same things. It's emulating, but it's different, obviously, than software emulation. So we'll definitely give them that. So yes, this will play the cards and the CDs. Pretty sweet. It's going to come with this handy 8-bit controller. That I actually have one of these, but it's not branded for the Duo. Obviously, the one that I have is for the TurboGrafx-16 Mini, which I've used quite a lot lately. Over the weekend, this past weekend, I probably put like 6 to 8 hours into that thing because I was playing an old RPG on it, and it held up pretty well, I think. The D-pad is okay, it's not bad. I mean, it definitely feels like the old TurboGrafx controller. It's a little smaller. It is actually quite a small controller, but it's not uncomfortable if you know how to hold it. If you know how to where to put the pressure in your hands on the controller, then, if you're just not wearing your hands out, then it's gonna be comfortable. Okay, and so let's get to what I think is definitely the biggest takeaway from today's announcement, and it's actually a totally separate announcement, that the Analogue Pocket is getting a TurboGrafx-16 adapter for $30, totally reasonable price there, and this is going to play, as we saw above, it's not going to play any CDs, obviously, but it's going to be TurboGrafx-16, PC Engine, and Super Graphics are coming to Pocket. So that's amazing. And honestly, back in the day, NEC did this with the Turbo Express. So we've already had a device that played these cards on a handheld. This was basically a portable TurboGrafx-16, and it was really cool back in the day. I really love the way it looked. Look at that. It kind of looks like an old like walkie-talkie or something. It's pretty chill thing happening there. And man, you gotta love that. You gotta love that TV tuner. Look at that, man. That is beautiful. Okay. Where were we? Got really sidetracked there by that TV tuner. Anyway, so yes, for me, this is the biggest takeaway. We get a way to play TurboGrafx cartridges on the Pocket. I'm buying one. Do I have any TurboGrafx-16 cards? No, I don't. Am I gonna buy a couple? I think so, yes. I'll buy a few. Like I said in my last video, I've already built a cartridge library for the Pocket. Why not throw in a couple TurboGrafx games? And really, the TurboGrafx is next to like the Game Boy systems that the Pocket is going to play, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. Next to those, the TurboGrafx-16 is easily the most interesting library of games that we'll be able to play cartridges of on the Pocket, I think. So that is pretty cool. You know, Analogue up top here mentioned that this is the Duo specifically was one of the most underappreciated consoles of all time, game systems of all time, and that may very well be the case. I mean, especially if you just look at the library of games on CD and on cartridge, it's a good chunky library, and really most of us haven't really played many of these games, right? I mean, yeah, I certainly haven't. Having a look at the TurboGrafx-16 Mini, I mean, I remember those games existing. I don't remember playing a lot, like really getting to play them very much. I had one friend growing up who had a TurboGrafx-16, and I would mostly just watch him play. So I didn't get a lot of chance to play it myself. I didn't own one as a kid either. So it'll be fun to explore this library, and it will be expensive to buy these cartridges for this purpose, but I'll try to find a few. I don't want many. I just want a few of the real thing to try out on here and to justify my $30 purchase of this, which is $30. I mean, that's nothing, man. I mean, to get to play these games, FPGA. Now, here's something interesting. It doesn't say here that this adapter and that the Pocket are going to be capable of using FPGA technology to play the TurboGrafx-16 specifically. So I wonder if it's going to sort of leverage software-based emulation. I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I just find it interesting that the Pocket is so small and it can emulate, or it has FPGA technology that can play so many different handheld game systems. And now we're adding another one. And it's like, is this all truly gonna be playable with FPGA, or are there some shortcuts being taken? I mean, take all the shortcuts you want. I just want to play the games. I just think that, you know, the allure of the Pocket, and honestly the allure of Analogue in general for me, is not FPGA. It is just that the presentation is excellent. Obviously, the user experience is probably excellent. I can't speak firsthand because I don't have any Analogue consoles, but that's what is interesting to me about it, is their angle, is the fact that they make really quality products, really good user experience, and obviously the emulation is great as well. It's hardware emulation, not software emulation, just saying. Okay, so next up we got a few extra pictures of the Pocket, some close-ups, and then we learn down here, I think, that we get two colors. The white, I believe, is how they colored the Turbo Duo in Japan, although it was not called the Turbo Duo, it was like PC Engine Duo or something. And then up top we have the USA version, which is black. And yes, we get our hue cards. That's what these little TurboGrafx-16 like credit card looking things are. We get our turbo chips and our CD-ROMs. Coming 2020, $200, pretty expected, I think. Not bad. I feel like you're truly getting a lot of playback options with this thing, especially considering it does both cartridge and CD-ROM media. And what else? Let's take a quick look at our specs. We get the scan line options, scalar options, horizontal, and I'm looking at the other features here. That's all very interesting, I think. It's interesting because I would really like to, I really want to use one of these analog top boxes. Someday I'm sure I'll get one, just because my curiosity will be out of control, and I just have to see what it's like to play one of these. And I want to see what it's like to do a save state. I want to see what it's like to just navigate the UI, and I want to see how convenient it is when you're playing these old games, which can be pretty clunky. Does this improve things? You know, that's what you look for when you look for, you know, things like an emulator or something like the NES Classic or the SNES Classic or the Sega Genesis Mini. When you have those experiences, or when you have something like, you know, the Sega Genesis Collection for console, you look for those things. You look for all those little quality of life improvements that can make the experience better. And I just wonder how deep Analogue really goes. If you're watching this and you have an Analogue product, you're probably rolling your eyes because I don't know that, but whatever. So anyway, coming 2021, am I going to buy this? No, but I am definitely going to buy the star of the show, the adapter for the Pocket that will allow us to play these same cartridges. That's what's interesting to me. That's $30. We can play that on a TV as well, because most of us that buy the Pocket are going to have that dock along with it. Anyway, guys, I don't think there's much else to say here. I appreciate you checking me out. And we're gonna see when this thing goes up for pre-orders. We're gonna see if the pre-order situation is as crazy as it was for the Pocket and all of that good stuff. And you know, if any new Analogue news, noteworthy stuff comes along, I'll jump on here and I'll talk about it. But I actually have not watched any of the videos or read any of the articles on this topic. I wanted to give you guys my raw thoughts on the thing, and I can't wait to this evening check out some of the videos and see what people are saying about the Analogue Duo. Anyway, guys, that's it for me on this one. Thanks a lot for checking me out. Later.